Today, boys, we are going to be rebuilding Southampton, but we can only sign players through the scouting recommendations. Southampton currently sit bottom of the table and have sacked manager Russell Martin. We are going to take over Southampton today and go back to the roots of signing cheap but talented players to bring into the Premier League. Some of these signings include Sadio Mane in 2014, who was signed from Red Bull Salzburg for around £10 million, who went on to be one of the best wingers in Premier League history. Speaking of one of the best in Premier League history, again, another signing, Virgil van Dijk, purchased from Celtic for £13 million in 2014 also. Another amazing signing being Dusan Tadic, £10 million from FC Twente, who is one of the world's best creative players in his peak. Like I said, boys, Southampton are known for producing really world-class talents, and we're going to do that today and hopefully bring Southampton back towards the top of that Premier League. Throughout this rebuild, we will also be looking to use the Southampton Academy. One of the best left-backs in the history of world football, Luke Shaw, came from Southampton's academy, so throughout this rebuild, I'll be keeping an eye on that development centre. Let's completely turn this Southampton team around. Currently sitting bottom of the Premier League in real life, and it is Robbo's aim today to take these boys all the way to the top. Let's get into this first tactic we can create for Southampton in this Robbo rebuild. So, boys, just to explain what we will be doing over this 5-year rebuild, we will be using this scouting tab to sign all of our players throughout this rebuild. Now, part of Southampton's culture is finding talent from abroad. Like we mentioned in the intro with Dusan Tadic, Sadio Mane and Virgil van Dijk. We will be looking all across the world, signing the world's best scouts to help us find the best talents to bring into the Premier League and hopefully bring Southampton up the table. I will be back when we have made our Season 1 transfers. Let's see what our scouts can cook up in this Season 1. So, boys, these are the transfers we have done for Season 1, and let's start with the transfers out. So what I thought, boys, Season 1 of this rebuild, we just need to survive in the Premier League. Of course, Southampton in real life currently are sat 20th in the table. We need to make sure we have the players here who are going to help us survive in the Premier League. So what we've decided to do, boys, all the talented youngsters we are going to loan out for a season, let them develop and hopefully let them come back to a better team in Season 2. So first of all, going out is Tyler Diblin on loan to West Bromwich Albion. Of course, a team in the Championship, great for playing time for English youngsters. Let's hope he gets some game time, gets a little bit of development for that first team next year. Joining him at West Brom will be Juan Larios, the left back. Now, this guy, I was on the fence whether to keep him or not, but I think one more year on loan, get a few more of them stats up, he could be ready for first team football. And we've also loaned out Sam Amo Amayewu. Might have absolutely butchered that name, but he looks pretty decent. Again, a good loan could do him some good development. He's gone to Luton, who are a good club to loan to, obviously previously in the Premier League, so let's see how he develops as well in Season 1. Now, of course, boys, this whole rebuild is centred around the Southampton scouting system, and these 4 players we have brought in were made through the scouting recommendations, and they are some banger signings. Starting off with a free transfer, we brought in Brandon Williams, covers left back and right back, strong on both feet. He's just a good backup, really, and I expect a few red cards from the ex-Manchester United man. I think an absolute belter of a signing, and a very Southampton-like signing. We have got James McAtee over from Manchester City. This man costs us £6.5 million, a youngster, an English youngster as well, who has got a lot of potential to grow. He's going to be playing in that cam position for us this year. I think this could be one of the best signings that lasts us the whole rebuild. Speaking of more potential, we signed Alan Velasco over from FC Dallas for a combined total of £5 million. He's going to be playing the inside forward role for us this season. We're going to lock him in. He's got a bit of potential. He's a good dribbler. He can finish. He's a bit quick. He's kind of just good at everything. We're training him to play shots off that left wing. Again, for just £4.5 million up front, this is an amazing signing. He had a great season last year with FC Dallas. Let's see how he helps us in Season 1. And again, someone that just come up on the scouting recommendations was Josh Wilson-Esbrand, a left back from Manchester City. We signed him for 500 grand. Again, he's just going to play backup this season, but he's got a good pace, good crossing ability, good tackling. He's just going to be a backup rotation option, but I thought for 500 grand, an English player as well, you can't go wrong. So, boys, this is going to be Season 1's tactic. We are just going for a simple 4-2-3-1. The assistant manager recommended this when I loaded into Southampton, so I thought, you know what, I'll listen. We're going to be playing attacking fullbacks, attacking wingers, focusing that ball down the wings, looking to score goals from out wide where our more talented players lie. We're going to be locking in Velasco, McAtee, Solomena, Walker-Peters and Edwards just for that development, for that growth of the potential. Like I said, boys, this whole rebuild is centred around using the scouts at Southampton, using the youth academy and the scouting recommendations to build a great team. But in Season 1, I just want to survive because, as we say, as we stand in real life, Southampton are bottom of the table with about 3 points, whatever they're on. So hopefully we don't do a Russell Martin. Let's simulate Season 1 and let's see how we do. So, boys, to show you the first month of results, it's like we're in WWE because we are on the ropes. So we started off with an opening game at home where we lost 3-1 to West Ham. At one point, the game was 2-1 West Ham, but Fulkrug ended us in the 92nd minute with a penalty. We then went away to Newcastle and got a 1-0 win, which is a very surprising result. Adam Armstrong in the 90th minute up the Rovers. But then we had Everton Everton at home and lost 2-1. Calvert-Lewin and Branthwaite getting the goals. Definitely a few set pieces. And then as well, somehow, we lost to Wigan in the Carabao Cup second round. So, I mean, let's take the positives. We're not in the Carabao Cup, so we can focus on the league. But looking at that form, this is going to be a ropey first season. But we've got to have faith in the young talent, have faith in the formation. Let's now simulate this full season and hope to God that we stay in the Premier League. Okay, boys, in the first season with Southampton, we are on the competitions tab. Let's scroll down. Ooh, we've just survived by 2 points. To be fair to ourselves, right, Southampton in real life are absolutely destined to go down. There is nothing more inevitable that's going to happen. It's like Thanos clicking his fingers. So we've survived. Listen, in Season 1, all that mattered was survival. We've survived in 16th place, 9 wins across the season. And what is even crazier is that we survived on the last day beating Leicester 3-0 at home. And if we look at the competitions, Leicester go down on 31 and we stay up on 34 points. Literally by the skin of our teeth, we've survived. If we look squad-wise at the goals across the season, Ben Brereton Diaz was our top scorer with 12 in 27, which for a team in the relegation zone by the end of the season isn't actually too bad. Our new signing Velasco getting 8 goals and 3 assists in 37 games. Not a lot of development either, which is worrying. James McAtee getting 5 goals and 2 assists in 36 games, who he has shown a bit of development, but really it is not good enough at all. But just a really, really poor season across everything. We were knocked out in the FA Cup by Newcastle in the 3rd round and knocked out in the 2nd round like we've seen by Wycombe Wanderers. We have got 50 million in the transfer budget, 134k wage. These scouting recommendations are going to have to be absolutely top tier if we had to stand any chance of even surviving again next season. It's going to be different to any of the rebuilds you've seen already on the channel. This is going to be a difficult task. But let's get into Season 2's transfers and let's revamp this team and hopefully build a better team so we won't be 18th by the end of the season. Let's get into these transfers, man. So, boys, after a difficult Season 1, we had to make a lot of transfers with this squad. We had to get rid of a lot of deadwood and we had to bring in a lot of new talent to hopefully maybe put us in the top half in Season 2, hopefully, and we have signed some amazing talents. Let's go through our Season 2 transfers. We're going to start on the outs because the biggest transfer of the whole window was Aaron Ramsdale going to Al Nassr for £51 million. When Al Nassr come knocking and you're at a club like Southampton, you can't offer the wages, it's over. So Ramsdale, 51 million, out he goes. Replacing Ramsdale is Noah Atabolu, one of the best goalkeepers on Football Manager. Our scouts have done an amazing job. He's 6'3", amazing jumping reach, good reflexes off the bat. Of course, he has a lot of potential to develop. Hopefully this season, whilst he develops, he won't cost us too much. He has conceded 7 goals in 2 games, but Ramsdale conceded 17-38 last year, so as long as it's under 70, we can forgive him. Some more outs that we won't go into: Bella Kotchap, Aribo and Ross Stewart there highlighted on the right for a combined total of about 16 million. Just some deadwood who weren't really playing at the club, so we decided to cash in. But speaking of the ins, the first in of the season was Nathan Collins for 30 million from Brentford, an amazing centre-back, 6'5". He's a perfectionist personality. He's a leader at the back. He's going to be brilliant in our back line this season, hopefully preventing us from conceding another 70 goals. Next up, boys, and I couldn't quite believe my luck when I saw this signing, João Gomez over from Wolves for £25 million. He comes in, an amazing ball-winning midfielder, amazing mental stats. He's just kind of good all-round, really. For a club like Southampton, you can't really ask for much better for 25 million. Let's hope he has a good first season with us. We've also brought in Adingra from Brighton. This was for £21 million. I thought he plays both wings, can play up front, covers a couple of positions for us in the team, so he comes in. I'm looking for him to develop this season. Whether he starts or not, I'm not too sure, but he'll be good off the bench if not. Next up, we got Bit Shiabu over from Leipzig. This man comes in for £20 million. Again, just another youngster, very pacey, 6'5", strong, a good physical presence at the back. Apparently has a lot of potential to improve, which could be good, so he comes in at centre-back. We've also brought in Carrazor. Now, I thought with a team that struggles a lot, a mental monster in the midfield will be good, and his mentals are just absolutely ridiculous, so hopefully he's going to play a big impact this season. One of the best signings of the window was Josh Doig over at left-back, coming in for £8 million. The man's an absolute machine on FM, 17 pace, he's 6'2", he's got amazing mentals, technicals are decent as well. He's a very good standard left-back for Southampton, one of my favourites from this year. If you've not tried him this year, boys, make sure you go and try him. And finally, boys, 2 strikers come through the door in Tia Kavin, £5 million, I think it was. No, £7 million over Dynamo Moscow. Again, good finishing, good off the ball, good anticipation, just looks like a good striker. We're training him to beat the offside offside trap. Hopefully he's going to score the goals for us this year. And boys, finally, the last signing of the window was Andrea Bellotti coming in from Como for £4.6 million. Didn't really play much last season, but with his attributes there, the finishing, heading off the ball, teamwork, work rate, he's looking like he could be a good Premier Division player. So hopefully this guy also scores the goal for us this season. If we look at our tactic, we have changed it to a 4-2-2. I thought we were conceding quite a few goals and not scoring a lot, but I think this tactic gives us some balance. This is from the Dortmund rebuild that we did, the 4-2-4, which, boys, if I haven't mentioned already, you can go to the Patreon down below, download any of my tactics, any of my save game files that you see on the channel. So we're reusing a tactic from that Dortmund video. If I quick pick the best 11, we've got Ben Brereton and Bellotti up front, Velasco and Armstrong, Martel and Carrazor in the DM positions, Doig, Bitshiabu, Collins, Walker-Peters and Atabaulu in the net position. I think this starting 11's looking a lot stronger than last season's starting 11, but again, it's the Premier League. We are Southampton. I've got no idea what to expect. But if we look at our bench this season as well, we've got Edwards, Downs, Adingra, Lello, Sulemeno, Cameron Archer, Edoze, Saguara. We've got a lot of talent on the bench as well, so hopefully the bench is going to help us this season as well. We're now going to simulate season 2. I will see you boys after the first one for a quick roundup, but hopefully these boys can do the business and not be in a relegation battle in season 2. Let's go, boys. Okay, boys, the season 2 first month has gone actually pretty well. I mean, we started off with a 4-0 loss in the league to Man City at the Etihad. I mean, to go to the Etihad away as Southampton in the first game of the season is very tough, but to bounce back after it and win 4-3 at home against Newcastle, who we seem to have their number in this rebuild already, winning 4-3. Cameron Archer getting the winning goal in the 85th minute. We then went to Ipswich away and drew 3-3. Bellotti getting a hat-trick, which is great to see, but maybe a game where we could have got all 3 points. We then had Bromley in the Carabao Cup second round, winning 10-0, which is an absolute beautiful morale booster there. And then we have Coventry in the Prem, who have got promoted pretty impressively, where we win 4-0. And what's good to see in that game, we had 4 different goal scorers. So based on the form already, we are 6th in the Premier League. Of course, in the FA Cup, we enter in the 3rd round, and in the Carabao Cup 3rd round, we have drawn Tottenham Hotspur away. So that's going to be a tough fixture. Like I said, boys, season 1 was all about surviving in the Premier League, as, like we say, in real life, Russell Martin struggled to do so. In season 2, we're going to look to move a few places up the table, and if we can get a top half finish, that'd be absolutely unreal. Let's simulate the full season 2 using scouting only signings and see what these Southampton boys can do. Come on, the Saints! Yes, boys, so the second season with Southampton is completed and we managed to finish in 10th position in the Premier League. I would say that is an amazing season to go from just surviving against relegation in the first season to finishing 10th mid-table, close to top half in the Premier League is absolutely brilliant. If we look into the league here, we won 15 games over the season, drawing 8 and losing 15. Our top scorer in the competition was Bellotti with 15 goals. Adam Armstrong getting 13 assists as well is very impressive. In the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, we were knocked out by North London's at best, Arsenal and Tottenham, getting knocked out in the 4th round by Arsenal and the 3rd round by Tottenham Hotspur. But I just want to show you boys the schedule, because if you look at our schedule here, we were losing, you know, we weren't picking up many points, but around January time, it looks like the tactic began to click. And if you see here, if we go down and show you this form from January, that is the form of like a top 8 team. So it shows that over the season, the boys have just got better with the tactic, better with the system, maybe developed some partnerships. There's some really, really strong results. I mean, to end the season there, drawing at Chelsea, beating Tottenham 2-1 at home, some really, really good results. If we look squad-wise for the season, the signing of Bellotti for $5 million was a great one. 21 goals in 29 games for Southampton is unbelievable. Ben Brereton Diaz again having a good season with 15 goals and 9 assists. Adingra getting 12 goals and 7 assists. It looks like he played 37 games and he must have started a few, because his development looks unbelievable. He looks insane now. We've got João Gomez there playing 42 games, getting 8 goals and 12 assists. He's just such a good CDM on the game, innit? We've got Bitshiabu at centre-back there. Little bits of development, the positioning going up, a few mentals going up, but nothing too crazy, but a good first year in the team. Average rating wise, João Gomez, Brereton, Bellotti, Armstrong, amazing seasons. I mean, Armstrong getting 13 assists for a player that looks like that is actually incredible. Next season, boys, we've got £47 million with a 140k wage budget to improve this team. Can we push for Europe in season 3? Let's do some signings and I'll be back in just a moment. Right, boys, the halfway point of the video. Season 3's transfers, let's get into them. Starting off, boys, when Lorenzo Luca for 26 million comes up on your recommended, you click sign. 19 jumping reach, 17 heading. Say no more. See you on corners, pal. Next up, boys, right at the start of the window when I checked my scouting recommendations, Saki appeared. Now, I've known Saki throughout the game, but he looks unbelievable on this save. His physicals are amazing, tackling technique, vision, passing, a great ball playing defender joins us this season. And also, boys, most likely the man who will be on the thumbnail, Amad Diallo, signs for Southampton for 26 million. The man who has probably derailed Pep Pep Guardiola to getting sacked by Man City. The most informed player in the Premier League at the moment. Welcome in Amadinho, Amadese, whatever you want to call him. Next up, boys, now we made a big sale, which I'm going to show you in a minute, and this guy came up, Sedilia, for a total of 35 million. I just thought this guy looks absolutely insane for a right back. 6'1", amazing technicals, amazing physicals, amazing mentals. He's got 18 long throws in case he ever wants to lob the ball in the box. I've never used him on this FM before, but he looks absolutely crazy. Sedilia joins us for 35 million. And a couple of late signings. We signed Gedson Fernandez here. This was for 14 million. Again, just looks amazing. Mentals are decent, technicals are decent, physicals decent. Just a backup defensive midfielder, but he looks really good. He could probably challenge for a first team spot, to be fair. Really good player. And then, boys, another player who I've never used before, Konstantelias. Could have absolutely butchered that, but he comes in as a left winger. Good dribbling, first touch, technique, agility, anticipation, flair. He was an A+ recommendation, and I saw him listed for 13 million. I thought, you know what, we'll just give him a go. So he comes in on the left wing to give competition to Adingra. And, boys, we mentioned a big sale. Ben Brereton Diaz went to Fulham for 35 million. Now, over the last 2 seasons, he has been quite decent for us. But I feel like when you get 35 million offered to you for Ben Brereton Diaz, you accept the clause, don't you? You accept the transfer. So he's gone to Fulham. Hopefully this doesn't bite us in the backside, but he moves on. 35 million. Thank you for your service. Now, boys, if we were to quick pick by best 11, this is the team that comes up. To be fair, what I would probably change is I would put Luca in there, so I'm going to lock him in this season. Luca, Belotti, Adingra, Diallo just screams goals. You've got Carrazzo and João Gomez there, but you've got Martel and you've got Gedson Fernandez on the bench to come on. Sedilia, Collins, Bitshiabu, Doig and Atalobu in net. We have absolutely transformed this team by season 3. Now this looks like a team that could maybe push for a European spot. We're going to simulate 1 month and do our 1 month roundup. Let's see how these boys get on at the start of the season. Okay, boys, the first month of season 3 has actually been pretty decent. We started off at home against Tottenham where we drew 1-1. Luca getting the goal for the Saints. We then went to Everton to Goodison Park. Got a 0-0 draw, which again, in the first season, these sorts of games we might have been losing, so it's showing clear progression. We then played Ipswich in the Carabao Cup second round where we won 4-3. Ahmad getting 2 goals in this game. Good to see Tiakovic as well, a player we signed in season 2, getting a goal. And then we've just played Man United at home and won 1-0 with an Adingra goal. And if we look at the ratings in the team, everyone had an unbelievable game. Ahmad just probably couldn't be bothered this game. Just ignore that rating. If you look at the competitions, we currently sit 8th in the Premier League. We've got Swansea next in the Carabao Cup. It would be nice in season 3 maybe to get a bit further in the cups, maybe a quarter-final, semi-final, and maybe, who knows, a final win. That would be absolutely amazing. But yeah, boys, let's simulate this season. Let's see what this team can do in season 3. The midway point of the video. Let's go, the Saints. Yes, lads, right. Season 3, I am not even joking. This might be one of the most mad seasons I've ever seen on any football manager. What am I looking at? Season 3 with Southampton, we have won the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup in the same season. I don't even know what to say. I genuinely don't know what to say. And we finished 6th in the Premier League. Let's start with the Prem. In the Premier League, we finished 6th on 67 points. 2 points off top 4. Lorenzo Luca has scored 31 goals. Oh, my Lord. Amad Diallo's got 11 assists. Atabolo's had 13 clean sheets. We have had an unbelievable season. Just, what is that? Let's go into the competitions tab, though. FA Cup winners. Man City in the final. What is going on? Man City in the final, a 4-2 win. Ahmad, Luca, Belotti and Lello. It was 4-1 till the 94th minute. We've absolutely dominated. Ahmad with the player of the match. And if we look into the Carabao Cup as well, we're 3-2 winners against Arsenal. Oh my Lord. We've won 3-2 with a Gedson Fernandez winner. Saka's missed a penalty in the 97th minute. We're going to have to go see if it was a save. 97th minute against Arsenal. Saka takes the penalty. Is it a save? Oh my Lord. That is unbelievable. Come on, Atabolu. But I mean, boys, what can I say? Domestic double. And we've qualified for Europe in the 3rd season with a Southampton side currently in 20th in real life, 3 years in the future. If we go to the squad, Lorenzo Luca has scored 42 goals this season. 42 goals. Tiakovic and Belotti each getting 15 goals as well to support. Adingra and Ahmad getting 9 goals each with 27 assists combined from the winger positions. I mean, what can you even say? If we look at average ratings, look at some of the ratings. 7.5 average from Lorenzo Luca. Gedson Fernandez for £14 million. 7.1 average rating. Sedilia, the right back. This guy looked good. I knew he was going to be good. 7 average rating. João Gomez, one of the first signings we made. An amazing season again. Absolutely incredible season. We've got 54 million with no wage budget. I mean, we have been signing players using scouting recommendations, and this has opened my eyes to what scouts can do on this game. I'm actually quite shocked. Let's go and do season 4 transfers. Somehow we're going to have to improve on that season. Let's see who we can find in here. Right, boys, season 4 transfer window. Now, I was looking in this transfer window for a striker, and I went for Sesko, and he denied me. So we got the next best thing. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Joshua Zirkzee has joined Southampton. Now, let me land. In my tactic, I have an inside forward next to him. We're going to be playing him in the DLF role. He's brilliant DLF, to be fair. He's got good dribbling, his passing's good, his vision's good, technique, teamwork. This is a bit of a risk. I'm not really a big fan of DLFs. He cost us 18 million from Man United, so not too big of a signing. We're going to see how he does. But then, lads, lay out the red carpet because football royalty has entered the Saints. Simone Profundi, my boy. If you boys who watch the YouTube are not watching the Twitch streams already, twitch.tv/BigRobbo14, go and follow. This guy is a Twitch icon for me. Just an absolute god of a player, physically, technically, mentally. I mean, just look at him. He can play up front. He can play on the wings. He's going to just play all over this season. He's an absolute goat. Also, boys, I have a recruitment focus set up for my scouts to look for any contracts expiring. And Curtis Jones came up. I mean, he can play CDM. He can play on the left. He can play in the middle. He plays pretty much everywhere. I mean, just as a squad option, I thought I'd get him in on a free. You know, you can't really go wrong. An English player as well for registration. Perfect. And finally, boys, we have our first regen of the rebuild 4 years in. We have got Michael Sjoukvist. I actually think I smashed that. He's a deep line playmaker. He's got high determination. Great stats to start off with the composure, anticipation, balance. I mean, just look at him. He looks great. We've loaned him back to Copenhagen where he came from because they've got amazing facilities. We're going to see how he gets on this season. After last season, boys, I really don't feel like I can change tactic. We won the FA Cup. We won the Carabao Cup. It's an unbelievable season. We're going to stick with that 4-2-4. We've changed the pressing forward here to a DLF. We've put Zirkzee in that DLF. See how he plays. Ahmad going around him. Luka coming ahead of him. It could work. It could absolutely fail. Competitions-wise as well, we have actually won the Community Shield on penalties against Chelsea. That is a game we absolutely dominated. We had 14 shots to their 5. Lobotka missed a penalty for them. If you look at Chelsea's team there, Palmer, Gyökeres and Cherki scoring the goals is crazy. Good to see Zirkzee getting us a penalty goal. Profundi getting a penalty goal. My goats. I'll be honest, boys, I might lock Profundi in on that left wing position just because I know how good he can be. I'm not too sure though. I think I'm going to lock him in. I might come back in January from the simulation, see how he's doing and have a look, but I'm going to lock Profundi in. Of course, this season we are in the Europa League as well, so when we do our 1-month roundup, I will show you the fixtures. But yeah, boys, it's going to be a crazy season. An FA Cup, a Carabao Cup, and now a Community Shield to add to the trophy list. Season 4, let's do our 1-month roundup. Okay, boys, the first month of Season 4 has been a tough one. We start going to Tottenham away, where we lose in the 96th minute to a Pedro Porro winner. Sedilia getting sent off in the 64th minute there. Unlucky to concede in the 96th minute, especially after having 10 men from the 64th minute. Then we had Liverpool at home, where Kvaratskhelia, that's an hard name to say. We lose 1-0 to Liverpool at home. I mean, tough result really, only 1 goal in it, but it is Liverpool at the end of the day. Then we go away to Manchester United, where Profundi and Ahmad get the goals to get a 2-2 draw at Old Trafford, which is a brilliant result. Then, boys, we start to have some teams where we should be beaten, and as you can see, 5-2 at home to Leeds. A Luka hat-trick, Profundi and Zirkzee getting onto the score sheet as well. And then we had Peterborough, where again, Ahmad, Luka and Zirkzee get onto the score sheet for our Europa League fixtures. For the first time of the rebuild that we are in Europe, we have got HJK, we've got Ludogorets, Red Star Belgrade, AZ Alkmaar, Dynamo, FC Rapid, Hapoel and Sporting. We should easily be going through this league phase. Let's have a look if we've got any other teams in here. Benfica, Leipzig, Napoli, Sporting, Lazio, Sevilla, all in the Europa League this season. Nottingham Forest. It is going to be a difficult competition to win, especially there. Leipzig, Napoli and Benfica are really top teams. Let's see what we can do though, boys. Of course, this season we are in Europe. We're in 4 competitions, everything to play for in Season 4 of this rebuild. Let's simulate the full season and see what these boys can do. Right, boys, Season 4 is a wrap. And I mentioned that Southampton were competing in the Europa League this season. Well, how about I do one better? How about Southampton are lifting the Europa League this season and the Carabao Cup? Now, we'll go from left to right. In the Premier League, we finished in 8th. And to be honest, seeing that we won the Carabao and the Europa League, it probably affected our league form a bit. Luka's still got 20 goals, 3rd joint top scorer in good company of Kvaratskhelia, whoever that is, and Haaland. But 8th place in the league, 15 wins, 15 draws, only actually having 8 losses. 15 15 draws. That's probably a Premier League record for the most draws in a season. I mean, we convert at least 5 or 6 of them into wins. We're looking at top 4. 15 draws is mental. We haven't got any other key players in any of the stats. But if we look at the Europa League, boys, an extra time win against Benfica. I mean, we absolutely dominated the game. 32 shots to their 5. I mean, a 2-1 win flatters them, to be honest. And what's even better, boys, Konstantin Tyakhvin, more of a squad player nowadays, scores the winner for us. One of our first signings in the rebuild. That is beautiful to see. Lorenzo Luca getting the other goal in the 80th minute against a Benfica side. If we look at our run to the final, in the semi-finals, we actually played Sevilla, where we won 6-3 on aggregate. If we look at the quarter-finals, we beat Lazio 4-2. So we've not had an easy run in round of 16. We had Ghent, where we won 5-0 on aggregate. In the knockout playoff round, we didn't play in that. So in the league phase, we went unbeaten in the Europa League phase. That is absolutely unbelievable. 8 wins, 2-0 against Sporting and 8-0 against Ludogorets, 6-1 against Hapoel. 26 goal difference. Luca getting 14 goals in the competition's crazy. We were knocked out in the 4th round of the FA Cup by Brighton, disappointingly. If we look at the Carabao Cup, though, again, retaining the Carabao Cup this season. Chelsea 2-1 in the final. If we look into here, it was summer signing Xerxes giving us the lead to make it 1-0. Ahmad making it 2-0. Cole Palmer getting a 99th minute consolation goal when they only had 1 shot on target the full game. But look at the development in this team. We are dominating these big teams now. If we look at our run to the final, we beat Liverpool 4-3 on aggregate there in the semi-final. In the quarter-final, we beat Millwall 3-1. In the 4th round, we had Aston Villa away, a tricky tie, winning 3-1. And in the 3rd round, we had Peterborough 5-0. I mean, if we look at the schedule for the season, there's lots of games here where we're winning. You know, Chelsea away 3-1, beating Sevilla 4-2, a Luca hat-trick, beating Sevilla away 2-1. There's some really, really big wins across the season. You know, getting a draw at Arsenal 3-3 where they've equalised in the 97th minute. This team is now competing with the big boys in the league. A 4-0 win against Man United. I mean, it's an unbelievable season. 3 more trophies to add to the cabinet. If we look at goals-wise across the squad, Lorenzo Luca again getting 38 goals across the season. Them headers, that jumping reach is just so good on the game. Amad Diallo having a great season as well. 18 goals and 12 assists. And as you can see, there is development as well in the passing, the finishing. He looks incredible. Simone Profundi, though, from the left wing, playing 61 games and getting 40 goal contributions as a left winger. Yeah, I told you he's the GOAT, boys, and that's from the left wing position. Joshua Zirkzee getting 13 goals and 9 assists across the season. It's poor, really, when you think about it, boys. I mean, we gave him a chance. We're going to have to look to sign another striker next season. João Gomez still having consistent seasons, getting a good average rating with 18 goal contributions. Gedson Fernandez and Josh Doig also having good ratings. Here's a centre-back we signed early on in the rebuild, and he looks amazing now, our left centre-back. The team is just playing unbelievable. I think we might be a few more key signings, a few more world-class players, and we could try and challenge at least for the top 4 or that Premier League next season in the final season. Budget-wise, after that amazing season, we have got £61 million. And quickly, if we just show the lad that we loaned out back to Copenhagen and played 24 times, not amazing development. He's going to need another loan next season, but it's nice to see we're getting youth into the club, that Southampton way of bringing in talent from abroad. Let's go spend this £61 million and let's just see if we can improve this team. Lads, when I tell you I've just signed the best regen I have ever seen on this game and a 5-star player for 15 million, you would not believe that they've come from a recruitment focus. We're going to start off with the other signings, but first we've brought in a regen here for 7 million. We've brought in Lopez, the right winger, 5'11". He looks good technically, mentally, his physicals are good. We're going to try and loan him out for this first season for you boys on the Patreon. When he comes back in that 6th season, he's going to be incredible. He can play naturally on the right or up front. He looks insane. But just wait till you see this regen. Next up, boys, another regen we brought in for just £1 million is Ortiz. He's a midfielder. I'm not even sure what he's best at. Maybe as a playmaker, he's got 18 passing, 17 determination, 16 decisions, 15 composure. He's 18 years old. Another crazy regen, but it doesn't even scratch the surface of what you're about to see. First off, boys, we will show you the 5-star player. Mastan Tuono has signed for us, okay? He came up in my Ballers recruitment focus. He's been at River Plate the whole time. £20 million. £20 million for that. I don't even know what I'm going to do with him. I think I'm going to play him in cam, maybe drop one of the strikers back. He's world-class current ability. I don't even know what to say. He came up in the scouting focus. I've never seen him look that good on FM. I am just shocked. I'm in complete shock. That might be one of the best signings I've done all year. 20 million. And finally, boys, from Mallorca, this is the best regen I have ever seen in my life. You will not find a better regen on FM24. This goalkeeper from Mallorca is 18 years old, okay? He is 6'4", 18 aerial reach, 15 command of area, 16 communication, 16 one-on-ones, 16 reflexes, 17 positioning, positioning, 16 decisions, 16 agility, 16 balance, 17 jumping reach. He's both footed, but he's also got 14 anticipation, 14 concentration, 14 throwing. He's got a professional personality. He's still apparently got loads of potential. When he came up, we had to sign him. He's played for Mallorca for 2 full seasons. Yes, he's conceded 60 goals last season. £38 million and a release clause. I have never seen a wonder kid in their position look that good. I've got him loan listed, but I might just have to lock him in for the season, and I'm actually just intrigued about how he might develop. That is by far the best regen I've ever seen on this game. Ability-wise, that is crazy. We've also, boys, got Nico Paz coming in on a free transfer, a winger who can play both sides. He's both-footed. This guy has been in my scouting recommendation for years now, but I've not bit the bullet and signed him. But now he's on a free from Como. His contract's run out with them. Good dribbling, first touch, pace, vision, work rate. He looks outstanding. He's going to be joining on a free. I genuinely cannot get over that regen. I can't get over how good he is. I need to tell the world about him. Honestly, that is the craziest. Them 2 signings, Mastantuono at River Plate, 5-star ability, and that regen at Mallorca. Like, this is just mad. I think, boys, what we are going to do for the new season, we're going to lock in Iglesias in net, the keeper from Mallorca, and Mastantuono, we're going to lock him in at camp. We're going to see how this does in the 1-month roundup. If not, we'll move Mastantuono back up front next to Luca, but this season's going to be crazy. Let's get to the 1-month roundup with these new players. I just can't even believe it, to be honest. Okay, boys, we are back for our last roundup of the rebuild. This has been an insane rebuild, and if you're still watching to this point, actually, you are an absolute legend. Thank you for making it to season 5. But, boys, we started our season off with an amazing fixture at home to Coventry, where Profunde, Ahmad, Nico Paz, Luca, and João Gomez all got goals, and Rick scored for Coventry. Brazilian Rick. That's an interesting one. In the next game, boys, we were actually playing in some European Super Cup, where we beat Corinthians and then we beat Barcelona on penalties. I mean, we'll take the trophy. I mean, I don't think Southampton have ever won a UEFA Super Cup, so I guess we'll take it. We won 2-2 and then won on penalties. Wolves away, we won 4-1. Luca getting 2, Ahmad getting 1, and Mastantuono, which is good to see, getting a goal from that cam position. In the next game at home to Arsenal, we drew 1-1. Mastantuono again picking up another goal. Then we had United away. Now, these are the games where if we start winning these, we can become serious title contenders, and we've won 2-1. Luca and Profunde. And in the Carabao Cup third round, we had Mastantuono, Luca, Satki, and Damian Lopez, one of our regens that we actually signed in the summer, getting a goal as well in that game. So it's an unbeaten start to the season. As things look, it all looks positive to have an amazing last season. If we have a look at our Champions League fixtures, the first time in the Champions League of the rebuild, we have got Celtic away and Tottenham away to start off with, Real Madrid at home, Leipzig away, Zurich at home, Feyenoord at home, PSG away, and Juventus away. That is a very, very tough set of Champions League fixtures. If we even go through, I'll be very impressed. Like Omega Dad says, we have to win our home games. Of course, this season, we are competing in the Premier League, the Champions League, and the 2 domestic cups. We've already won the Super Cup. We've won the European South American Club Challenge, so we've got 2 trophies already in Season 5. Let's do this full simulation with this insane team, and let's see if we can end with an absolute banger of a season in Season 5. Okay, boys, as we come back for the final time in this Southampton rebuild, using scouting assignment only, we finished second in the Premier League. We were so close. We finished 3 points off the top spot. Arsenal winning the league with 84 points. If we look at some of our losses, Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, Villa, Palace, City, Brighton. Brighton, you could say, is a bad loss. Tottenham, Villa as well. Some of our draws as well. Ipswich, Leeds. Ipswich twice. Arsenal a draw. You know, we were a few results away from winning the Premier League. If you look down there at the bottom, Ipswich, who got relegated, we drew twice too. 4 points from them games if we win, and we win the league with 85 points. We were also knocked out in the round of 16 by Arsenal, boys, 6-3 on aggregate. If we look in the knockout playoff round, we did play in the knockout playoff round. We beat Villarreal 4-1. That means in the league phase, we finished 11th, which I think is actually quite respectable if you think about the teams that we had to play. Losing to PSG, Leipzig and Tottenham, but beating Juventus, Real Madrid 3-2 at home is a crazy win for a team like Southampton. But, boys, it is not all doom and gloom, because, again, this Southampton team has done the domestic double, winning the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. We'll start off with the Carabao Cup, beating Tottenham 3-1 in the final. If we look into this game, 3-1 winners on the day, boys. Luca, Paz and Jones with the goals. Kulusevski with the goal for Tottenham. A game, again, that we just seem to dominate in terms of shots. This tactic seems to have so many chances created a game. If we look at our run to the final, we had Man City's in the semis as well, winning 4-3 3 on aggregate and winning 2-0 away from home in the second leg to go through. That is a crazy result for us. In the quarterfinals, we beat Chelsea away 1-0. In the fourth round, we had Arsenal away 1-0. So we've had Arsenal, Chelsea and City on the route to the final, beating Wigan 4-0 in the third round. So a very difficult Carabao Cup win, but this time round, we have won, beating Tottenham in the final. If we look at the FA Cup, we beat Leeds in the final. That's a surprise team to see in there. Of course, boys, a team like Leeds, we're going to dominate. Luca and Mastantuono getting the goals, winning 2-0. If we look at our route to the final here as well, beating Arsenal in the semi-final 4-1 is a massive result. Let's have a look into this one. So it was 1-1 by the 20th minute with Profundi and Jesus getting the goals, but Timber getting sent off in the 28th minute, and then Luca, Mastantuono and Nico Paz, who is popping up a lot in these big games, winning it there for us 4-1. In the quarterfinals, beating Carlisle. That's a strange team. 3-1. Fifth round, beating Brighton 5-1, and in the fourth round, we had Sheffield United away, winning 3-2, and in the third round, beating Palace 3-1. Of course, boys, we also won that Super Cup, beating Barcelona on penalties, and also the European Winners' Cup. So, if we think about this rebuild, in the final season, we came second, 3 points off winning the league. We've won the Europa League, we've won the Carabao Cup 3 times, I want to say, the FA Cup twice, the Super Cup once, the Community Shield once. Before we look into how the squad did this season, boys, as I always mention, this save will be available on Patreon for you boys to continue. Obviously, if you've made it to this point of the video, the only thing we haven't won is the Premier League and the Champions League, but round of 16 by Arsenal in the Champions League and only 3 points behind Arsenal in the Premier League. This team is set up in the next few years to be able to do both. So if you boys take this over on the Patreon, please send me your screenshots, tag me on Twitter, come into my stream and tell me what you've done with this team, because we have built such a fun team as well. I really do like to see, boys, when you boys take over my saves and achieve better things than I have. So make sure you're sending me them on Discord, tagging me on Twitter, coming into my stream and letting me know. If we look into the squad for the season, Luca actually had quite a slow season for his standards, scoring 33 in 65. You know, maybe if we had a season from previous, we could have won the league. 33 goals, getting 20 goals in the Premier League as well. It's harsh to say a slow season, but for his standards on this rebuild, it's normally been higher. Mastantuono had a brilliant debut season though, 25 goals and 24 assists from the cam position. The world-class man there. An average rating of 7.3 in the Premier League, an absolutely unbelievable season. We had Amad Diallo getting 15 in 51, Profundi getting 13 and 18 assists in 54, Nico Paz getting 10 goals and 6 assists off the bench. I think looking at this squad screen here, you can see that we just need a few more goal scorers in the team. I think maybe some wingers that are going to provide a better goal threat, maybe a change of tactic with more than one up front. And something I want to touch on, boys, look at Iglesias, 19-year-old Spanish goalkeeper. He is already a leading Premier Division player. He looks absolutely unbelievable. Only conceding 34 in the Premier League, getting 13 clean sheets. That has to be the best regen I have ever signed. If you were to carry on this save, boys, you would have 66 million in the budget, 180k wage. I just want to point out that one of our scouts has found a left back from Argentina here. Look how good he is. Oh my lord, 6'2". If you boys take over the save, I'll put him in the shortlist. Pablo Lozano, sign this guy. In fact, I'm gonna sign him right now. I'm gonna sign him. If you boys take over on the Patreon, you are gonna have him at your club. But I think what this video shows, boys, is that if you use the right recruitment focuses, you make sure your scouts are good in finding good potential, finding good ability, you can find a world-class team. Like, hey, if we look at one of the Wonder Kid filters that I set up through recruitment focuses, you've got these 5-star potential Wonder Kids who look absolutely insane. In this recruitment focus here, where we've got ballers set up, we've got Baleba popping up there from Brighton, we've got Hinsape at Leverkusen, you know, your scouts, if you sign the correct staff and you set up the right focuses, can find these world-class players all the time. Like we said at the start of the video, boys, every single player I have signed in this video is used through what my staff have found. So if in FM24 you don't rely on your staff or your scouts to make important signings, make sure you are setting them up properly to either help you or to completely guide you in your signings. But boys, if we pick our best 11 to end the rebuild, this is what we have got. Iglesias in net, Sedilla, Sadar, Bitshabu and Doig at the back with Gedson Fernandez and João Gomez in front. Diallo, Mastantuono and Paz as the creative front three with Luca up front. What an absolutely amazing team. What an absolutely amazing rebuild. I think this goes down as the best rebuild I've done yet. Taking over Southampton, a team that's got about 5 points in the Premier League currently, and turning them into Europa League winners, Premier League challengers in 5 years using only scouting recommendations is absolutely amazing. Like I said, boys, the link will be in the description to the Patreon to use this Saints tactic, to use this Saints save file and carry it on if you like to. Thank you so much for watching. Go watch all the other rebuilds on the channel if you've enjoyed this one, and I will see you boys in the next video on the channel. Peace out, boys.